All right, welcome to our next training on through next steps. This competency or this skill was we call creating a fun environment. We do.
Woohoo!
Woohoo! That's right.
We're in the
Um, and so what that really means is this: it's making next steps a fun and enjoyable experience by sharing a positive attitude, allowing guests or our next steppers to really feel welcome and cared for. And so Maureen, walk us through what this means. So what does, in your opinion, how does fun connect with engagement?
Well, so we don't want it to be boring. Like, no one wants to attend something that's boring. And so we've really tried to set up next steps to be a fun atmosphere, to just have a lighthearted, just to be a lighthearted experience where it's interactive and fun. Like, we really don't want to, we all know what it's like to be involved in some of those boring conferences or classes. And so when we break that ice and the nervousness that people might be feeling, and taking this step, like, here they're kind of new. Some people have just gone to church on Sunday morning and then they jump into next steps at 1 o'clock. That's a big step. Like, that takes a lot of courage. It's a lot easier to just lay low and just kind of wait and see. And so I appreciate that people will do that. So I think we want to honor that by allowing breaking down that fear and breaking down the barriers of, oh boy, this is this big scary thing. And so if we can make it more lighthearted, that's why we play silly games. We just laugh, we have a good time. I try to poke fun here and there and just make it where it's a lot more easy to engage because you're more relaxed. And then you're thinking, oh, well, this was a piece of cake, so I can just go ahead and jump in and do this thing. Or, oh, well, they say join a small group. Well, that'll probably be, so just makes it this more cool, fun kind of environment instead of a stuffy, like, scary one. And so I think if we break that ice, it helps people to feel more comfortable to engage.
Yeah. I'll add to Maureen, you've done a really good job. You've called this an experience, not just a class.
Yeah.
And so there's a difference there. There's a difference saying a class is when you come and you listen and you learn and you show up. This is not a classroom experience where it's online or actually one day in person maybe. It really is an experience where we want to laugh, to engage, to know names, and to really build that. And so so when we make it, we have fun. We're trying to create an experience, not just a classroom setting as well. And you do a great job through that as well.
Definitely. I try to make fun of myself.
Yes.
And then the leader's next. So look out.
Yeah. Well, why don't you give us a few examples on how creating fun done right may compare to having some bad examples of having fun?
Yeah. So I want to start with the not so right so that we can finish on a high note. So this to me would look like boring, rigid, just boring and dry, and I like a classroom environment where you're just listening and being lectured at. We know what that's like. It does not feel any good to be participating in that, and it does not feel good to be doing that. They're very blah. I'm going to be asleep. Like, if I'm not entertained at least a little bit, I'm going to be wanting to get up and go do something else. So we want people to be able to engage because it's enjoyable. So we always start out with the silly activities. And I think we have to be okay with poking fun at ourselves just a little bit and engaging in those games and helping other people to do that. So just contributing and getting to know someone else too, that helps. But I think if you're coming to the session with no desire to be there and you look distracted or you're on your phone or you're looking around, we know those people on Zoom, like they're just watching something else or things are going on in the background. That's not going to be a way to have fun, to even be engaged at all as a leader. And so we just ask that you would be willing to be there and be super engaged and look like you're having a good time. Not willing to share would also not be super helpful if you're kind of clammed up and just sort of asking the questions in a rote way. You're not feeling at ease and not listening to other people. So those are all the bad things, I guess, just not listening, asking questions, but really not looking like you care what the answers are. And so, yeah, those are the bad ways. Boring, rigid, just not being engaged, I think would be my top ones to avoid. Let's not do that.
Yeah. You table leaders, breakout leaders, you guys really set the tone for these conversations.
Yes.
Maureen, you do a great job leading it from one spot, but
yeah,
there's numerous people else participating and engaging. You really do model what everybody else is going to follow, and so it is really helpful.
Right.
Maureen, we've all heard this, but we've heard the saying, attitude is everything.
Oh, hold on, I got to do the done rights.
Oh yeah, do the right. Sorry.
Yep. What are the good ways? What are the great ways? What are the good examples? So done right. This is where, again, I want to talk about thinking hospitality. Someone's coming into your home. What do you want them to feel like there? Do you want them to feel apart? Do you want them to feel comfortable? So again, keeping that light, flexible mood is going to make things a lot more enjoyable. That's why we do those silly activities, to laugh a little. We leave space for people to contribute, like Zach said, to ask questions and to get to know us and other people in the session. So if you're so tightly scheduled, we definitely have a schedule, and it's written out, like we know what we want to cover. But there's enough space in there that we can stick to it while still having fun and having time for people to contribute. So having that balance there with lighthearted fun just helps, again, to put people at ease, and hopefully allows them to learn and connect at the same time. And it's not tedious. So again, if you're willing to share, be vulnerable, just kind of be open for that. And even as the Spirit leads and what God wants you to do or say, to show that you care and to encourage the people in your breakout room, especially. So there, now we can move on.
Sounds good. So attitude is everything.
Yeah.
What kind of attitude would help us create a fun environment? Seems like a no-brainer, but it's helpful just to talk about it.
No, for sure. I mean, it's sort of the same as the last question, but attitude is definitely everything. As I, kind of worked through next steps, and as we learned even a while back, we want it to be a ministry where people really get to feel like they belong. They start to get a sense of what New Life is about, and how they get connected. That's the biggest question we get, is how do I get connected? So they need that connection. We need them, they need us. We talk a lot about, and so when we welcome them with this friendly, caring attitude, being open and excited to be there, they'll sense that that's what they'll find at New Life. I think they'll get that grace and love from Next Steps leaders, from this experience. And then hopefully in time as they grow, they will begin to give that back to others at New Life and in our community. So positive attitude is very, very contagious. And so is a negative one. And so if we can keep Next Steps infused with just a light spirit and kind hearts and welcoming with hospitality, people who are coming to seek God and just grow in community at New Life, that's what's super important. And that kind of attitude will help us even just to accomplish our mission statement and what we talked about in the very, very beginning. How we can invite people in and help them to feel welcomed. It's just crucial.
Yeah. I'm going to add just a helpful idea here for you, Marina. You do this so well. So I know I'm going to get the time wrong, but I know usually like 5 minutes before or 10 minutes before you do like a little huddle online. Like those are so helpful. I know from at times when I can attend those, it just gives me a few minutes to process with you, to be okay, here's what's going on, here's what's happening. I know for me, it's easy to go, okay, 1 o'clock or 1:03 sometimes, and I'm jumping on and my brain is like in 100 different places, and I'm like trying to slow down to focus. Even just like joining you that 10 minutes, is it 10 minutes before? Is that what you do?
Yeah, 15. It used to be 15, and then we had so many services, but now that we're back to 2, it'll be a good 10 to 15. Yeah.
Yeah, and so even just be able to block that out, saying, okay, at 12:45, I'm jumping on, have a little bit of interaction with you, help me, remind me what we're doing. Like I will come with a good attitude. We usually come with a good attitude, but sometimes it takes me sometimes 5 minutes, 10 minutes, even just put everything else away so I can focus on what I need to do here. And so that those little huddles you do at 12:45 are really helpful for me. I imagine for
me too. Like switching off church onto Next Steps and all the people that are coming. We want to pray for them. So that's an important time.
That's really helpful to come in to have a good attitude and create a fun environment when you're focused and ready to go for what you're gonna lead us through. So I'd plug that. I know it's helpful for me when I've done that capacity. So
that does set the tone. Yep.
So there you go. So that's this skill. That's this competency. Fun.